Hello guys, welcome to NameTech channel. My name is Nehemiah, and guys, I'm very much happy to have you on board today. And we are going to design a restaurant website from scratch to its completion step by step. And this is the website that we are going to design, me and you. First of all, let's view this website. We have this navigation section, guys, and you can see I have the utensil icon here, and the logo here. And also we have the navigation menu here, guys. You can see it has the smooth transformation effects when you have on it, very perfect. And then we have the search icon, and then the cart icon, and then guys, also here we have the the carousel section here at the home, where we have these delicious meals here. And then when you have on these buttons, you can see it changes to another display, just very perfect. And then I guess we have this other section here for the special meals today. And then I guess you can see we have the flex boxes here, just very perfect for these meals here. And then I guess we have the basically I've linked this breakfast, lunch section, and supper section. I've linked all of them to this section here, because we have the breakfast package, lunch package, and the supper. And then we have these other images here too, just very beautiful. And then we have the top rated meals here, guys. And then we have the carousel, very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Changes to another item after every 3 seconds. And then guys, we have the about section, and then in the about section you have the button for read more. When you have on it, guys, you can see it has the the good transformation effects. And then I guess we have the contact form here, the contact section. So we have the contact form where you can fill your name, like you can type in your name, like Nehemiah. I'm Nehemiah, so let me say Nehemiah Wekesa. And then here you can type in my email. So my email is nametech. My email is admin at nametech.com. and then you can type in your comment, like you can say, let me type in my website, www.nametech.com. and guys, I always remind you that in this website we have all kind of programming courses, like CSS, HTML, JavaScript, Python, PHP, SQL, R, React. We have Bootstrap 5. We have almost all kind of programming courses, Kotlin, and name it. So guys, when you visit this website, it's going to help you and improve your programming skill or web development skills. And then I guess we have also the the footer section here at the bottom, a very beautiful footer section. And then I guess I want us to see if this section is functioning. So like if I want to go to the home section, guys, I can just click on it, and then it's going to take me where? To the home section. For special, it's going to take me to the special meals here. For breakfast, it's going to take me to the breakfast section. But I remember that for lunch and supper, I've linked to this same section. But you have the about section, very beautiful. The contact section, very perfect. And so guys, this is the website that we are going to design, me and you, step by step. And so guys, if it's your first time to learn with this channel, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button. And to the subscribers, you can like the video. I'll appreciate very much. That is to support the channel so that it may grow very fast. And so guys, without much ado, let's get started. And so the requirements that you need to have in this project, you need to have a text editor to code for coding. You can use any text editor like Adobe Dreamweaver. You can use Visual Studio Code. You can use Sublime Text. You can use Bracket. You can use Atom, Notepad++, or whichever text editor you have. And then also you need to have a browser to execute your codes, like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Opera, Tor, or whichever browser you have. And then also you need to have some images on your device so that you may not struggle to access them when the projects begin. Let me open the file explorer so that we may begin the project right away. So guys, I'm going to place this project in this second partition named media. You can place it anywhere, but for me I'm going to place it here at the project, and I'm going to give it a folder, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say restaurant. Restaurant, I don't know if this is the spelling, restaurant demo website, restaurant demo. And so guys, what you do next is to place the images in this same folder so that you may not have issues while coding. So what I'm going to do now, my images are in downloads, and then here are the assets. Guys, you can see I have some images here. I have a breakfast box, fried kitchen, fried chicken 2, hamburger, we have hamburger 2, lunch box, pizza, we have pizza 2, salad 1, salad 2, salad 3, sandwich 1, sandwich 2, sandwich 3, soup 1, soup 2, supper box. So guys, these are the images that I'm going to use today. And so guys, what you do, you're going to place this folder for images in the same directory only for your project. So you can copy or you can move it to that folder. For me, I'm going to move it to this folder. It was in the this second partition, cheat sheet, and then to the project, and then to the restaurant demo website, and then I'm going to move these images there. And so now once it's there, I can now clear this window, and then what next guys is to open the text editor. I say that I'm using the Visual Studio Code. And so guys, once you've selected, then you are going to click on this icon here for Explorer, and then you are going to have this is the main folder here, and then we have the images in this folder. So guys, what we are going to do next is to create two files for HTML and CSS. Also we shall add JavaScript later. So first of all, let me create for HTML. So for HTML, you can give it any name, but remember it ends with the extension .html. For example, I'm going to give it index.html. Remember this extension, the file path is the most important part, .html. And then what else I'm going to create for CSS. So for CSS, I'm going to say what, let me give it this name, styles .css, and then I do what, you click enter. So guys, I have two files here for HTML and then CSS. So now I can minimize this section now, and then guys, I hope you can see. Let me try to zoom in so that you can see very well. And guys, to the HTML, if you're using the Visual Studio Code, you can just type exclamation, and then you click what, tab or render. Then you are going, it's going to generate the snippet for HTML structures. So now in this section here in the title, you can give it any name, but for me I'm going to give it my meals hotel, my meals hotel. And so guys, this is the name that I've just thought of, but you can give it any name. And so guys, what next is to link your external style sheet to your HTML. So now to link it, you're going to use the link tag. Remember the goodness with the Visual Studio Code, when you just write a link, for example link, you write link, then you click tab, or you click enter. It's going to complete for you for this it's going to give you the entire code. So now the goodness with the Visual Studio Code, you don't type a lot. So in this external style sheet, you are going to write the exact name for the file here. So it is styles.css. And so you're going to click, you're going to save first of all, and then to your external style sheet here. First of all, we are going to write here remember that almost all browsers usually have their default styling, but now we use this tab to overwrite everything, to override the styling in those browsers. And then the first thing that I'm going to use here is the margin property, and I'm going to give it a 0, and then also I'm going to give it a padding of what, 0. I'm going to give it 0, and then I'm going to give it box sizing. I'm going to give it a border box, and then what else, I'm going to give it text decoration. Remember, text decoration is the the underline. For example, if you write a link tag, using an anchor tag, it will, your text will have the underline in it. So we use this text decoration, we give it none so that we may not have those styling. And then what is outline? Outline, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it none. And so guys, what next is now to link to get your fonts. So for the fonts, I'm going to the Fonts and to the Google Fonts and search for fonts. So let me open the browser, and guys, in the search bar, I'm going to type what? I'm going to type fonts.google.com, and then now guys, let's go to the fonts page here, and then I'm going to choose any font that will place me here. For example, let me just use this one. Let me just use this one, and I'm going to select. I'm going to use guys this one, and I'm going to use what? This one. I'm going to use this one also. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use this one, and what? This one, yeah, and that one. And so guys, once you are done, once you have selected the font that you are going to use in your project, the next is to click on this part here, this icon here. So guys, you're going to click on that icon, then it's going to open this section. But I think most of it on your side is already opened. And so guys, what next is to click. You can use the link tag, but you can see the codes are too many. For me, I'm going to click on this import. And so in this import guys, I'm going to copy this section out to here, and then I'm going to copy, and then I do what? I go to the text editor, to the CSS. Now at the top here guys, I'm going to paste it there, and then now the other thing now is to add the font style, font family in this in our global style in here, so that we will not repeat the same thing several times. So I'm going to the same part, the same page, and then I'm going to copy what? I'm going to copy the font family here, and then you copy, and then you go to your text editor guys, and then you're going to do what? You're going to paste it here. So you're going to paste it there to go to your HTML. And remember, now when you open this page on your browser, it will be very blank. So you go to the extension here guys, and then you're going to type what? You're going to type a live server. A live what? Live server. You're going to type live server, and then you're going to click on what? You're going to click on this icon here for install. Then you're going to install it. And so guys, once you've installed, then you can minimize this section here, and perhaps close this part so that you may just remain with the HTML and CSS. And so guys, once you are done, then on your HTML, just right click here, and then choose open with live server here, and then guys, you're going to see you have your page here, but remember it's blank like this, because we haven't written anything in the body section. So guys, what next is to write your stuff here. So guys, we are going to begin the navigation section, and I'm going to use what? I'm going to first of all begin with a comment. Remember, to write a comment in whichever text editor you're using is just a control plus the /, and then here I'm going to say what? I'm going to say navigation section, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to write here the main class here. So the main class guys, I'm going to use what? .home. First of all, it is nav. Let me begin with the nav. So nav bar. Let me begin with the nav bar. You can give it any class. And then nav bar. Then you click enter. It will just complete it for you. And then guys, inside this nav bar, I'm going to create also another class for maxwidth. Maxwidth. You can give it any name. Maxwidth, and I'm going also to add also I want to add a logo here, so I'm going to use let me just write for the class for it. So logo, so class is logo, and then inside this logo, and so guys, next is to type here the code for, you know, the icon for utensils. But guys, before you do that, ensure that you've linked your Foundation page in your HTML document here. So guys, I'm going to the browser here, and I'm going to open another tab here. So guys, I'm going to type here Foundation, foundawesome.com. And so guys, once it's open, then you are going to create an account with them for them to give you the site kit. So you are going to create an account with them. Remember, for me, I already have an account with them, so I'm going to click on I'm going to sign in. So let me just sign in. And so guys, once you have created an account, they will give you the site kit. Remember, for me, I already have the site kit. I already have an account with them. So guys, I'm going to this section for kids here, and then I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to click on this part here, and then guys, now this is the site kit here. So I'm going to copy this kit code here. I'm going to copy it, and then now to the HTML, I'm going to do it. I'm going to paste the code there. So I'm going to paste it there. You ensure that you are in between this start tag and the end tag of the head. Don't place it anywhere, it will not work. Ensure that you are between the start tag of the head and the end tag of the head. And then now guys, you're going to search for the icons that you want. So you're going to the icon section, and then guys, in this icon section, you're going to type the icons that you want to use. So like for me, I say utensils. I want to write utensils, then I click at enter, and then guys, you can see we have the utensils that you might want. So I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose this one, and then guys, you can see we have the utensil here. So you're going to copy this part. You're going to copy this this code. But remember guys, I just want to show you, but for me, I already know the codes here. So first of all, let me just clear this section. So now to your HTML, now to the place where you want to add your kit to your icon, you're going to write what? You're going to write fa utensils. Again, this is the spelling. And so guys, the next thing that I'm going to write here is the span. I'm going to use a span. I'm going to use what? I'm going to use a span tag. And then inside this span tag, guys, I'm going to write what? I'm going to write this name. I'm going to say my meals hotel. At the end of this div here, I'm going to create also the UL. I'm going to use another list to create the navigation items, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to add a class for it, and I'm going to give it menu. Then I do what? You click enter, and then inside this another list. Guys, I want to add the list itself, so I use the li, and then inside the li, I'm going to use an anchor tag here. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to create an anchor tag here. First of all, here I give it a hash, and then here I'm going to give it a home, and then I guess what I do, let me just duplicate it. Remember to duplicate, you can just click on the Shift Alt then down key, and I'm going to give it something like even 6 or 5. So here I'm going to give it what? That is home. Here I'm going to change it and give it special means special, and then here I'm going to say what? Here let me say breakfast, and then here guys, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it lunch. Here I'm going to give it supper. supper. I don't know if that's the spelling for supper. And then here I'm going to add what I'm going to say. Let me say order, and perhaps let me create another section here for contact and about. Order and about, or it will have very many navigation items. So this is about, and then contact, and I guess it seems that it will have many items here. So let me say first of all, before I do anything, guys, let me add also the icons here for what, for perhaps search and cut. So here I'm going to do what I'm going to create a class here for icons. So I'm going to say what I'm going to create the class name for those icons. So let me say nav icons. Let me say nav icons, and then I'm going to do what I'm going to write fa.hyphen, and then search. Let me say search. And so guys, what I do, guys, let me just duplicate this section and this line, and then duplicate it, and then here I'm going to give it what, let me say cut arrow down. You can get these are codes on the foundation page. Let me say cut arrow down, and then do what, let me save, and then let me go to my browser and see the changes. And then guys, you can see you have these items here. And so now guys, what I'm going to do now is to style it further so that it may be perfect and professional. So now we want to use now the CSS now to style it further. So let's go to our CSS. First of all, to our text editor, and then to the CSS, guys, I'm going to create a comment here, and then let me say, first of all, create a comment, and then let me say navigation styling, and then the first thing that I'm going to begin with is the main class, which is navbar. Remember, this is the class, the main class here, navbar. So what I do, guys, my mouse is a bit has issues, but let me just copy, and then here you begin with a dot. Remember, it's a descendant selector, so you begin with a dot, and then you do what, you open and close the curly braces, and then I'm going to give it a position of fixed position. So position, I'm going to give it what, fixed, and then I'm going to give it a width of what, I'm going to give it a width of let me give it a 100%, and then I'm going to give it a background color. I'm going to give it what, I'm going to give it a light gray, and then what else, I'm going to give it the font family we have already used in the global styling, so we don't have to repeat it again. And then I'm going to give it a padding of top and bottom. I'm going to give it a 15 pixel, 15 watt pixel, that is top and bottom, and then left and right I'm going to give it a 0. So first of all, let me save and see the changes in the browser, and then guys, you can see at least we have the background here. So now I want us to style these items here. For example, let me try to change the display of these navigation items here, navigation menu. So what I do, guys, let me go onto this CSS, and then I'm going to begin with what? I'm going to begin with the, first of all, let me copy the class name. So it is navbar, but now I'm going to target what? I'm going to target this menu. I want to change the display for the menu, but specifically for li and the hanger tag, for hanger tag. So let me begin with the navbar, then it's menu, it was menu, and then li. Remember the class name will begin with that dot because they are descendants. So I'm going to say menu, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say li, then anchor tag here, then open and close the curly braces. So the first thing that I'm going to change here now is the color. So color, let me give it what? Color. Let me give it white. Will it match? Let me try give it white. Let me give it white. Actually, begin the hash. When you use hexadecimal value, you begin with the hash. Actually, the value, this value. So next is 2. But now here I'm going to change the color. Perhaps let me give it this color code. Sorry, I'm going to give it this color code. Let me give it at least something black, something dark. Let me give it 4, and then so that when I give it here white, it will match. And then guys, what next? I'm going to give it a font size. I'm going to give it what? Let me give it a 20 pixel or 18. Let me give it 18 pixel. And I'm going to give it also the font weight. Remember, font weight is the boldness of your text. So for example, when you give it 500, that is medium. 500, that is medium. You don't give it a unit, just leave it the way it is. And then margin left, I'm going to give it out. Remember, margin left is the space between the edges of on your left hand side and your elements here. So I'm going to give it perhaps let me give it 25 pixels so that it may not be that at the edges. So 25 pixels. So let me save, and then actually I have not changed the display. So now guys, the next thing now is to change the display for the list. So let me just copy this section. Let me copy this part, and perhaps let me add it at the top here. And then what guys I'm going to do is to change the display. So I'm going to give it list style. By the way guys, let me this property add it here. So let me give it list style. List style property, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it let me give it none. So we may have it on our global styling so that it may not have it may not have bullets. So once you have it there, you don't need to repeat it here. I'm going just to give it to change the display. So the display here, I'm going to give it what? Display, I'm going to give it inline block, inline block. And then what you do guys just save and see the changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see it, it's somehow good, somehow perfect, pleasing. So the next thing now is to change the display for the entire this part. But before anything guys, let me change the color and everything for these icons here. So what I'm going to do now is to change to target now the logo part. So to my text editor, and then I'll target now at the logo. So let me say dot navbar, and then dot logo. Remember the class name is logo. Let me just confirm it. Remember the class name here is logo navbar, then a class name logo here. And then I'm going to do it. I'm going to target the anchor tag, and then open and close the curly braces. And guys, I'm going to do it. I'm going to could increase the font size. So font size, I'm going to give it what? Let me give it that 5 pixel. Increase it that 5 pixel. And I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it a font weight. I'm going to give it let me give it 600. And then what I'm going to give it is a color. So color, I'm going to give it also white color. So let me just give it this color. And then what you do, just save, and then let's open the browser. and then guys, you can see it is somehow, you know, perfect. So what next is to change the display for the entire container here. And so guys, to do that, now let's create also another class name here. So let me say .navbar, our main class, and then now targeting the max width. Remember, the max width is the container for these all these stars here, so it's max width. Let me just copy the class name, and then I'll do it. Let me just paste it there, then open and close the curly braces, and then what guys I'm going to say is change the display. So display, I'm going to give it to flex. I'm going to give it flex, and then align items. I'm going to align them where at the center, and then I'm going to give it this property, justify content. Justify content is gonna be what space between. So let me save, and then see the changes in the browser. And guys, you can see it is somehow, you know, good as we go on. But now guys, I want us to create, you know, some padding here at the left hand side and also at the right hand side. And by the way guys, the easiest thing now is to change the color for the entire, you know, this part, so that every color may be just white. So let me just go to this main part here. Let me go here where to the number, and I give it the color. So color, let me just give it white. Let me give it white, and then let me save, so that everything may just be white. So let me save this, and then I can see also the cut is white. So guys, what I'm going to do next is to now create, you know, some margin here at the left hand side and also at the right hand side. So to do that guys, I'm going to use this property here. I want it to affect, you know, the entire styling, the styling that we'll be using here. So let me just add it here. Let me say dot max width. Then I'm going to do it. I'm going to add, you know, some padding for it. So first of all, the max width property, I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it 1300 pixel, and then I'm going to do what? I'm going to give it a padding. I'm going to give it a padding of what is 0, that is top and bottom, then perhaps 80 pixel left and right. So let me save, and then I'll see the changes in the browser. And then guys, you can see it is somehow good, very good. So the next thing now is to change at least the color for this logo here, so that it may be, you know, perfect. So for this icon here, I'm going to give it red. I'm going to give it this color to be red for this icon here, for the utensil icon here. So let me go to my text editor, and then to the CSS, here to the CSS, and then targeting the anchor tag. Let me just copy this section, and my mouse is somehow, you know, disturbing me. So let me just copy it here. Let me just paste it there, and then now targeting what? I'm targeting the I tag. So let me open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to give it a color. Let me give it red. So first of all, let me see. So guys, you can see the color is red. And so guys, I want us also to change the color for this cut, and at least create some padding for it. So what I'm going to do guys, next is to go to the, you know, to that part, to the text editor, and perhaps let me copy this section, or let me just type here. Let me just say .navbar, and then targeting what? Now we are targeting this class here. This class here for, you know, the nav icons. So let me just copy, and then here let me do it. Let me just paste it there, beginning with a dot. But now specifically targeting what? These are parts, the second one. So the search bar, it will be just white. So let me just copy this part, and then I do it here. Let me just paste it there. You begin with a dot, so dot, then you do what, you paste. So what I'm going to do now is to let me give it a color. So color, let me give it again red, and then I'm going to add a padding. So padding, I'm going to say what, let me give it a 0 top and bottom, and then left and right, let me give it something like 6 or 7 pixel, and then let me first of all save. But before anything, guys, let me just copy this part. These are class, and at least increase the size for those icons. So let me just copy. Let me just copy, and then here let me just paste it there, and then do it, open and close the curly braces, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to increase the font size. So font size, I'm going to give it something like let me try 25 pixels. I will just change if it will not be good. And then what else? I think let me just save, and then I see the changes. So guys, you can see it is somehow, you know, good. And then what next? Now guys, the next thing now is to add the hover effect for this item. So let us begin with this navigation section here. So let's go to where? Let's go to our text editor, and then we are going to begin with the what? With the icon, the, you know, the logo. So where is the logo? Where is the logo? Here it is. And then let me just copy this logo here, and then do what? Let me just paste it there, and then add when you have on it, and then do what? Let me say what? Let me say give it a background. I'm going to give it a purple background. I'm going to give it a purple, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to add a padding. I'm going to give it a top and bottom. I'm going to give it a perhaps something like let me say 6 pixel. Then left and right, let me give it something like a 10 pixel. I will just change if it will not be perfect. And then let me add a transition here. So transition, I'm going to give it all. I like using this value, all 0.4 second or 0.3 second is. So let me save and see the changes. So guys, you can see when I have on it, guys, you can see it's very beautiful. But now I want us to increase the I'm going to change this I'm going to change the background, that is to give it something like a green, so that it may be perfect and match with the content. So I'm going to do it. Let me change the color, and perhaps let me give it a green. Let me give it a green. Then here I'm going to increase to something like a 15 pixel, and then add the border radius. Sorry, it should be 15 pixel. Then I'm going to add the border radius. So border radius, let me give it a 10 pixel, and then do it. Let me save and go to my browser and see the changes. So guys, you can see when I have on it, it is very beautiful. And then next is to save these other icons here. So what I do, let me just copy this section. Let me just copy, and then do it to other items, to the menu items. So here, let me just do it. Let me just paste it there. But now I'm going to change to tackle what? I'm going to target this part here. So let me just copy. Let me just copy, and then do it. Then let me replace it here, and then let me try to save. Let me try to save and see the changes. So when I have a, guys, you can see this, there's some are good, but now I want us to add the transition here so that it will not be this instant. So let me go to my text editor, guys, and then here I'm going to add what? I'm going to add the transition. So transition, I'm going to give it what? All 0.3 seconds is let me save and see the changes. And then so guys, you can see when you have on it, it is very, very beautiful. Yeah, it is very, very perfect. Then now is to target these other stars here. So for the let me go to the text editor. Let me copy these icons here section. Let me copy this part, and then I do what? Let me just paste here what I do, let me just duplicate this section, Shift Alt then down key, and then let me add now when you do it, when you have. So let me say have. Let me say when you have, and then I'm going to say to change to increase the font size. So let me give it something even like 30 pixel. And then so here also let me add a transition here. So transition here, guys, I'm going to give it transition, I'm going to give it all, perhaps let me give it 0.2 seconds. Is let me save and see the changes. And then guys, you can see when I have on it, it increases the the sizes. And so guys, I think this section is now complete. And so I want us to create the other section here, the home section. So what we are going to do now is to go to the HTML part, and then here at the HTML, let us create a comment. First of all, let me take some space there, and then let's begin by creating a comment here. And I'm going to say what? I'm going to say and let me say home section, and then inside this home section, guys, I'm going to use this class .home. Remember that div is our common denominator, or let me use section. Let me say section dot home. Then I want to use an ID. It will be just a single page website. So let me use an ID here, and then I also say home. So ID is home, class is home, and then guys, what next? I'm going to add here a container. So let me say dot container, and then just click enter. Again, I'm going to create also here the wrapper. Another class here called wrapper. Actually, you begin in the dot because it's a class. So dot wrapper wrapper. Then I click enter, and then inside it, guys, I'm going to use a slide here. So let me say dot let me say slide. So slide 1, or let me just say slide, because again, I'm going to create also another class here, dot, for content now, content, and then inside this content, guys, I'm going to use first of all, I'm going to use a span, and then inside this span, guys, I'm going to say what? Let me say our special mails. Then here I want us to include I want to include here what? Another text here. So let me use h3, and then inside this h3, guys, I'm going to say what? Let me say pizza. Let me say fried chicken. Let me say fried chicken, and then let me try to create also some text here. So let me say h. First of all, you create a p tag, and then inside this p tag, I'm going to create what? Lorem lorem 10, let me say 15, let me say give it 15, and then yeah, again what else should we add here? And so guys, I want us to create a button, and I'm going to use an anchor tag here. So let me use a dot let me give it btn, class name to be btn, anchor tag but a btn, then here I'm going to give it a hash. And so what I'm gonna do guys is now the text here should be let me say order, or yeah, let me say just order. And then guys, what else? Then now at the end of this this content, or let me do this, let me say just at the end of this div here, let me create also another class for let me say dot image, now to place my image. So image, and then the image I'm going to use what? I'm going to use the img tag, and then I'm going here I'm going to specify the folder for the images, which is assets, actually it's assets / then I'm going to choose what? I'm going to choose fried chicken 1. Then by the way, you can remove this alternative text, or you can just leave it the way it is. Remember, alternative text helps you, for example, if you have misplaced the image, so the alternative text will help you, or it will help the users to at least guess the kind of image that was there. For example, if I use this fried chicken, then I remove the image, and then alternative text here I leave that fried chicken, so it will tell the audience that this is the image that was here. And so guys, let's go to our CSS and style it. So now guys, here at the bottom, let me create a comment first of all. So in this comment guys, I'm going to say what? I'm going to say, let me say home styling, and then in this home styling guys, I'm going to say what? I'm going to begin with the it is home container. So you begin with the dot. So guys, you begin with the dot because it's a descendant selector of div. So let me say home. So the next class is that we are targeting is a container. So let me just copy it, and then do it. Let me just paste it there. You begin with a dot, and then oh, by the way, it should be container, because if you write a wrong a wrong class name, a wrong selector, but with a different class name, it will not have any effect. So ensure that you write the exact name. Also, let me copy the wrapper here. Let me copy it, and then do it. Let me just paste it again here, dot wrapper, and then finally what? Slide. So let me just copy it, and then do it again, paste it there. So dot slide. Then open and close the curly braces, and then guys, we are going to change the display. So display, I'm going to give it a flex. Then align items. I'm going to align them where? At the center, and then the other property that I'm going to give it is the flex wrap. And so guys, the flex wrap property, this applies when you have a smaller screen, or when you drag or you adjust your window to a smaller size, so your items will arranged in a column way, in a column manner. So for flex wrap, I'm going to give it wrap so that it may be arranged in a column way when you drag it, when you adjust the window, when you reduce the window. And then a gap guys, I'm going to give it let me give it that 2 pixel. Remember, you can use rem, or you can use whichever value, but I always like using the pixels. You can use also the em and so forth. So the next property that I'm going to give here is the padding. padding top guys. I'm going to give it let me give it 9 rem. Let me try to use another one. Let me give it 9 rem. So let me give it 9 rem, and then sorry guys, let me say 9 rem. And then guys, what I'm going to do, let me first of all save, and then I see the changes in the browser. And then guys, you can see there, these items are somehow good. And now the next thing, now let me try to create also what, let me create some margins here. So what I'm going to do now guys, let me go to the global styling here at the top, to the CSS first of all, and then section. Let me use the section. Let me add here, let me say dot actual section, just section. Remember, it is these are selector that I'm going to use. Sorry, I'm going to use this one, so section. So let me just do it. Let me just paste it there, and then open and close the curly braces guys, and I'm going to give it a padding of 0 top and bottom, but 100 pixel, that is left and right. Let me save, and then go to my browser and see the changes. And then guys, you can see it is somehow it is somehow good. So now let's style this image first of all, and then I guess we are going to style also this text here. So guys, what I do now, let me style this image. So remember, the image is where? The image is here. It is in this container here, content. So it is, yeah. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to my CSS. Now at the bottom here, what I do is let me just copy this part. Let me just copy it, and then I do it. Let me just paste there, but now targeting this class IM, actually image, but now IMU tag. And so guys, I'm going to give it a border radius of 10 pixel, and then and so guys, the width guys, I'm going to give it what? Let me give it 510. So 15. So 15 what? 15 pixel, and then also the height I'm going to give it what? Let me try to give it something like a 340, which I'll just change if it will not be perfect. And then let me add, and also another property here to add the object fit, so that it will fit in the data object fit. I'm going to give it a cover. So guys, let me save, and then see the changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see we have it has some rounded corners here, some are pleasing. And so guys, I want us to style this text here so that it may be perfect, professional. So guys, what I'm going to do now, let me go to my text editor guys, alright. And I want us to begin first of all styling what this span. So this span in the content here, the span. So now let me go to first of all this slide, then content here. So let me copy this part guys, and then I do it. Let me copy, then I do it. Let me just paste it there, and then I'm going to copy this class name, which is content, and then we are going to begin with the span, So let me just paste it there, and then begin with that span. Then open and close the curly braces guys, and I'm going to say what, let me increase the font size. So font size, let me give it something like let me give it something like 40 pixel. I shall just change if it will not be perfect. First of all, let me save and see before I proceed. Yeah guys, let me try to give it something like 50 or 70, even 70. Let me give it, sorry, let me give it something like 70 or 60. Let me try 60 pixel. And then what I do, guys, let me just duplicate this section, Shift Alt then down key, and then here I'm going to change it to the next. It was I think p tag. Let me see. The next one was h3. It was h3 h3, and then this one was p tag, the paragraph. And so guys, in this other one, let me give it a color color, I'm going to give it green. Let me try green or a light green. Let me give it green. And then guys, what else? In this second one, let me give it something like 40 like 40, and then here let me give it 20. So guys, let me save, and then see in the browser. And so guys, I think this is somehow good. So now guys, I want us to style also this this what I want us to style this button here, this btn, but I want to style it in the remember it's a btn, so I want us to use the global styling so that it may affect all other button that we'll be using. So class here is btn. So let me go here at the top here, the global styling here, and then guys, here I'm going to say what, let me just say what dot dot btn, and then I'm going to open and close the curly braces, and then guys, I'm going to give it what, the first property that I'm going to begin with is a background color. Background, I'm going to give it what, background, I'm going to give it let me give it this color code, and then I'm going to give it a padding, actually a padding of let me give it a 10 pixel, and then what, 10 pixel, that is top and bottom, and then let me give it something like 20 pixels left and right, and then border radius, I'm going to give it 10 pixel, and then what else, I'm going to give it color. So color, I'm going to give it white. Let me give it white, or let me give it something like red. Let me give it red. Red it will not match. Let me just give it white. And so guys, let me give it white. But now guys, let me now change when you hover. So when you hover in this btn btn. So guys, when you hover guys, I'm going to give it what, let me actually when you hover. So when you hover, I'm going to change the display. So first of all, I'm going to give it a background of what, transparent. Actually let me give it transparent. Actually it should be background. You begin with the property, and then I'm going to give it what, transparent, and then what is guys, I'm going to give it a color of red, and then a red border. I'm going to give it what, I'm going to give it a 2 pixel solid, and then I'm going to give it what, which color, let me give it red again, and then let me add a transition for it. So transition, I'm going to give it what, I'm going to give it all 0.4 or 0.4 second is. And so guys, let me first of all save, and then I'll go to my browser, and then I'll see the changes. So guys, you can see when I have on it has some smooth transition. Also guys, let me do what, let me style also this text here. So let me give it a margin bottom. margin bottom, I'm going to give it let me give it 20 pixel, and then again, so let me say first of all let me let me add this property align items. Let me say just not really, or let me just leave it the way it is. Let me save, and then I go to my browser guys and see the changes. And at least you can see I have some space here. And so guys, I want us to create the background for this stuff. I want us to create also a different background. So guys, what I'm going to do now is to let me go to my text editor guys, and then let me create a home. Now let me just choose .home, then open and close the curly braces guys, and guys, I'm going to give it a background color of what. Let me think of a color here, or let me just choose what. Let me just choose a light gray, and then do what, height guys, I'm going to give it a 100 viewport height, 100 vh, and then guys, what I do, let me save, and then I go to my browser, and then so guys, you can see the color is somehow perfect. And so guys, I want us to duplicate this section and at least make several of them. So what I'm going to do now next is to go to my text editor, and then to this HTML now guys, in this content section here, in this slide here, from this slide part, let me just copy it. And then I do it. Let me just duplicate one. I want to make it some trace, and then here guys, I'm going to change it to let me give it something like a hot pizza. Let me say hot pizza. Let me give it a hot pizza, and then the image here, the image, I'm going to change it to pizza. Let me give it pizza. Where's pizza 1? Let me choose pizza 1, and then here let me give it hamburger. Let me give it a hamburger, and then the image, I'm going to change it to a hamburger. So the image, let me change it to let me change it to a hamburger, and then let me save guys, and then see the changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see we have these images here. They are very, very beautiful, these images. So what I'm going to do now guys is to add the animation here, some slides, some carousel here from Swiper.js. So guys, what we are going to do, let me just open another tab here. Wow, I don't know what's the problem with this stuff. So guys, here I'm going to type what. Let me just type Swiper.js.com. Actually Swiper.js.com/get started. And then guys, what I'm going to do here, I want us to copy what? I want us to copy this, let me copy this link here, link tag here. Let me just copy, and then I go where? Go to your HTML here at the bottom, at the top. You can paste it anywhere. Let me paste it here, and then let me try to make it appear in a single line so that it may be presentable. So also at the front here, let me just make it appear in a single line. So let me save, and then I return to the same return to the same page, and then I'll copy this script tag, and then do it. Let's just copy, and then what you do, go to at the bottom here before the closing tag, just before the closing tag of the HTML, then just do it, just paste it there, and then let's save, And then what you do guys, next is to let me create an external JavaScript here. So let me create an external JavaScript. Let me say main.js. Remember, the key thing is the extension .js. And then inside in the let's now link this external JavaScript to our HTML. So we are going to the HTML, and then here let me set script, but now with the CRC here. And then I'm going to say what? Let me say main.js. So now we've linked our JavaScript here, that page. And then now guys, what we do, let's click on this part. And so guys, in this same page guys, we are going to this part for demos here. So just click on demos, and then here at the bottom, just go to the autoplay, something like that. So just click on this autoplay, and then click on this core. Just click on this core. So once it's open, let's go down here to the HTML part. And so what I'm going to do now here is to copy this class. Let me just copy this class here. So let me just copy this part. Let me copy this class. Let me just copy. Let me copy, and then I do it to my text editor guys, specifically to the HTML. I'm going to place it where? Let me press it in the home section. So what I'm going to do guys, let me just paste it here. Let me just paste it there, and then yeah, let me just paste it there guys, and then I do what? Let me return to the same page, and then I guess I'm going to copy what? This swiper wrapper here. Let me just copy this class name. Let me copy, and then I do what? Let me paste it to where? Here. Let me just paste it there. And then the last thing now is this other section here. So let me copy swiper slide here. Let me just copy it. Then I go to your text editor, and then here I just do it. I just paste it there. And then what else? So let me try to do this. Let me try to sorry. So guys, let me also copy this part, this section for pagination and stuff. So let me copy this section. So let me just copy this part to add this this pagination here, this previous and next, and also this pagination, swiper pagination here is at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to my text editor, guys. Now at the bottom here, where does this part end? From the slide. So class for slide, yeah. So here guys, I'm going to just paste it there. So let me just paste it there. Now the last thing now is to copy the script for it. Guys, I forgot and I copied the wrong script. So I'm going to go to the same page, and then here at the script section here, guys, I'm going to do it. I'm going to copy this part for JavaScript. Let me just copy it till here. So let me just copy, and then return to my to my text editor, and then guys, I'm going to do it. Let me just replace it here. Let me just paste it there. Yeah. Let me just remove this section. I don't need the pagination. Let me remove, and then add this property. Let me say loop. Then I'm going to say what? True. I'm going to say true. And then you close with a comma. And then guys, here in the HTML, guys, let me just remove this part. I don't need it. The pagination, you know, the next and the previous, and so guys, once you are done, before anything guys, I realized that I did not finish the HTML part. So in the HTML part guys, here in this swiper slide here, I should copy also this section. Let me copy this part, swiper slide here. Let me copy it again. Let me paste it to this slide, to this second slide. Let me just paste it there, and then again let me just paste it here. Let me just paste it there. Then I'll do what? Let me save guys, and then let me open the browser, and then do what? See the changes. And so guys, you can see you have, you know, very beautiful slider here. You know, it is just, you know, perfect and responsive. Or perhaps let me try to reduce the speed here. Let me try to reduce the speed, at least to make it you know, go at least slowly. So here I'm going to give it what? Let me try to give it something like 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, actual seconds. So let me save, and then I see the changes in the browser again. And so guys, I want us to create here an arrow here that points, you know, to the right hand side, so that this button may be, you know, somehow long. So what I'm going to do guys, let me open here a tab, and then I'm going to type what? HTML symbols, entities and codes here. And then I'm going here the section for arrows, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to click on it, and then I guess I'm going to use this one. I want to use this one. So let me just copy the HTML code here. Let me copy this HTML code, and then I can clear this window. Then let me go to my text editor guys, and here in every place where there is order, let me include that section. Or let me say order now. Then let me paste the code there. Also where where is the another section for order? So here it is. So let me say order now. Then let me add you know, this let me add this code again. This here also. Let me say order now. Then I add this code here, and so let me save. And then guys, also in this CSS and so guys, in this number I'm going to add the Z index of a higher value. So let me say Z index. I'm going to give it of any higher value, like let me say 1000. You know, let me give it 1000, and then let me save. And then guys, let me open the browser, and I see that arrow. So guys, you can see it's somehow, you know, good, somehow beautiful. And this section is also working very beautiful. And so guys, I think this section is now complete. I want us to create also another section at the bottom here. I want us to create another section here at the bottom, and for, you know, for the special here, for these special meals here, special meals. So let's go to our text editor guys, and then to the HTML first of all, and then I'm going to create here a comment first of all. So let me say let me create a comment, and then in this comment I'm going to say what? Let me say, you know, let me say special meals. And so guys, in this section I'm going to begin in the section now. Beginning the section dot you know, let me say special. You can give it any class, but for me I'm going with special dot idea. Also I'm going to give it what? Special. Idea, you give it special. Remember, idea, you use a hash. So let me say special. And then guys, I'm going to create you know, the dot max width, and then what else? I'm going to create also the one that are container, then card dot card. Then I'll add items here. But before anything guys, here I should add a title here. I want to include a title. So for title, I'm going to use a h2, and then I'm going to give it a class for title, so that it will affect the other titles that will be used. And then in this title guys, I'm going to say our special means today. Our special means today. So let me first of all save, and then I save the changes in the browser guys. And then guys, you can see at the bottom here we have the our special means today. And so guys, I want us to style it further so that it may be very very perfect, very pleasing, and specifically to the CSS. And I'm going to tag it to the title, so section special dot title. So let me to this CSS at the bottom guys. I'm going to begin with what? Let me begin with a comment, and show you always begin with what? A comment. And then it's not a must, but it helps you identify the section where you had written your code without struggling. So here I'm going to say what? Let me say special section styling, special section styling. And then I'm going to say what? Let me begin with the dot special. Remember it is this class name that I'm using. Yeah, let me use this one. Let me just copy, and then I do it. I do this for the sake of those who are beginners who don't know where this stuff is coming from. Also for title, I'm going to copy here title, and then I'm going to use it where? I'm going to remember you begin with the dot because it's a descendant of a div. A div is our common denominator here, but now we use a dot now to distinguish the class, to identify the class name. And then guys, what I'm going to begin, or before anything guys, let me begin with this section. Let me give it a padding of. Let me create also the padding. Top and bottom guys, I'm going to give it 100. 100 watts. A pixel should be pixel. I'm using pixel. And then 0, that is left and right. The padding left and right. So let me save. And then first of all, let me see some changes in the browser. And then guys, you can tell that you have some space here. Very very beautiful. So guys, I want us to style this text further so that it may be perfect, pleasing. And so this is what I'm going to do. So let me go to my text editor, and then now I want us to target the title. And so for title guys, I want to use this styling that will affect the other titles that we'll be using. You write title, then open and close the curly braces, and then guys, what are you gonna do? So you see that the text is at the at the left hand side, so I want us to make it at the center, and also style it further. So the first thing that I'm going to use to align the text, so text align. Actually I should use text align to be where I send that. And then what else? I'm going to increase the font size. I'm going to give it what? Let me give it let me try to give it 40 pixels. And then what else? I'm going to give it a font weight of what? Font weight, I'm going to give it 600. And then I'm going to use margin bottom. I'm going to give it let me give it something like 600 because we are going to add some 60, actually should be 60 pixels, sorry, because we shall add the underline in it, the text decoration in it. So and then what else? I'm going to add also a padding bottom. I'm going to give it something like let me give it something like 20. Let me give it 20 pixels. Remember to include the units because it will not work. So let me first of all save, and then I do it. See the changes. And so guys, you can see the text is here at the at the center, and it's very beautiful. So what I'm going to do, guys, next is to add the underline in it, some underline. And so this is what I'm going to do, guys. Let me begin with the title. So let me say title, but now before. So let me use these are before, and then I open and close the curly brackets, and then our content for before, I'm going to give it none. We use these blank. They got 2 quotation mark with the blank content here, and then our position. Position. Let me give it what? Position. Let me give it. Position. Let me give it absolute. Let me give it absolute. But now here, let me add here to be relative. Let me make it relative. Position. Okay, we begin with position. I'm going to give it a relative here, and then here it's absolute. And then what else? I'm going to add the width of. Remember, it's an underline. So the width, let me give it something like 200 pixel. And then the thickness of that line, let me give it. So the thickness, I use the 8. So 8, I'm going to give it 30 pixel. And then what else? I'm going to give it a background. Background of what? Background, I'm going to give it this color code. Let me give it just black. Let me give it this color code, black, this kind of black. And then bottom property. Bottom. I'm going to give it what? Let me give it 0 pixel. And then what else? I'm going to give it what? I'm going to give it a left property. Left property of let me give it a 50%. And then I'm going to add also the transformation for it. So transform, translate x, translate x, and then I'm going to say what? Let me give it a negative 50. Sorry, it is negative 50%. So let me save, and then open the browser, and then see, guys, you can see how these are text here at the bottom. And so what I'm going to do next is to add the let me add some text in it. So let me say what? Let me say special means. So let me copy this section. Let me say copy this section, and then do it here. Just paste it there. But now I'm going to change it to after. Actually, it should be after, and then the content for after, guys, I'm going to give it. Or what I do, the simplest way, guys, let me just do this. Let me just copy, duplicate, actually shift alt then down to, and then here I'm going to change it to after. I'm going to change it to after, and then here let me remove this height and the width here. The first thing you do, and then for content, let me say here, let me say special meals, special meals, and then the background here should be, let me give it white. Background, I'm going to give it white. Background, I'm going to give it white, and then the color, now the text color, so color, I'm going to give it red. Let me give it red. And then what else? I'm going to the bottom here, now I'm going to change it to, let me give it negative 12 pixel. And then what else? I'm going to add some padding, padding for it. So padding, I'm going to give it something like 5 pixel. And then what else? Let me try to give it what first of all, let me save and see, you know, some changes. Let me save and see. And so guys, you can see I have this text here, but now I want us to reduce the size. You can see the size is very big, so let me reduce the font size. So let me say font size. I'm going to give it that. Let me give it something. Let me give it 20 pixels. Let me save and see. Guys, you can see the text is now, you know, pleasing. I think for me this is perfect case. So I want us to create what? I want us to create some, you know, some text here, some cards here, and all that. So guys, in this card section, I'm going to do what? In this card section, guys, I'm going to begin with the img. So I'm going to begin with the image img, and then here in the image, I'm going to begin with that. Let me specify the folder for images. It is assets, and then a file flash. Then you're going to choose any that you want. So like let me choose sandwich one, and then what else? I'm going to add also the you know, let me add the h3 for title. So h3, guys, I'm going to give it that. Let me give it something like let me give it perhaps, let me say sandwich. It should be sandwich. And then I guess what else? I'm going to add also some lorem like 10 here to add, you know, some brief description. So let me say lorem, let me give it 8 for some brief description. And then here again, guys, here let me add the ratings. And so guys, for rating here, I'm going to use what? Let me use these you know, icons. So I dot fa you know, star, and then let me click enter. And then guys, perhaps let me try to duplicate this section and make it in a bit something like 4 of them, or let me give it 5. They are always 5. Then here let me add what? Let me say half alt. And then what is? And then guys, let me add also a button here. So the button I'm going to use what? Anchor tag dot, you know, btn, anchor tag dot btn. And then here I'm going to say what? Let me give it let me say order now. Let me say order, just order. For price, I'm going to add it where hey. So for price, let me just add it here. I'm going to use that. Let me give it a h2. Let me use a h2, and then let me give it this price. Let me give it at, you know, let me give it at let me give it $5. Let me give it, you know, something like 10. Let me give it $10. And so guys, you can see you have this section, but the image is very big. We are going to study it further, guys, so that it may be, you know, perfect. So what I'm going to do, let me go to my CSS, and then let me to the CSS, and then I actually do the CSS, and then I'm going to begin with that. Let me begin with you know, let me begin with the, you know, the card. So it is, where is the card? So here's the card. So it is, you know, special dot card. So let me say dot special dot card. Then I'm going to do it. Let me open and close the curly brackets. Then I'm going to give it a background. I'm going to give it the light gray. Let me give it light gray. let me give it a light gray. And then what else? Let me give it a border radius. Let me give it border radius of something like 8 pixel. And then what else? Let me add first of all the padding. Let me add the padding of what? So the padding, I'm going to give it a 25, that is top and bottom. 25 pixel, that is top and bottom. And then left and right, guys, I'm going to give it something like 35 pixel and 35 pixel. And then this property, let me say text align to be at the center. Let me say first of all, guys, let me save and see first of all the changes, some changes here. And so guys, you can see we have the very beautiful background. But now I want us to do what? Let me reset this image so that it may be perfect and professional. So this is what I'm gonna do, guys. Let me do this. Let me target now the image. So let me copy this part, this section, and then paste it there. But now targeting what? IMG. So the first thing that I'm going to do now is to so let me give it this styling. So first of all, let me give it a width of 10 for 10. I will just change it to not be perfect for 10 pixels. Then the height I'm going to give it to, let me give it something like to 10 or to 40. Let me give it to 40 pixel. And then I'm going to add this property object fit. I'm going to give it to cover. And then what else should I add here? Let me add a border for it. So border, I'm going to give it what? Let me give it a white or a green. Yeah, let me give it a green. So border, I'm going to give it a let me give it 2 pixel solid, and then green, or let me use white. Let me use a white. Let me use white. Then first of all, let me save, and then I see the changes in the browser. And then guys, you can see it is and so guys, let's now style this text here so that it may be perfect for us. So let me style this these stuffs here, the bottom and everything. So let me go to my text editor, actually to the text editor, and specifically to the CSS. Then let me copy this section. Then I do what? Let me just paste it there. But now I'm beginning with what? Let me begin with with what? With let me begin with and so guys, let me begin with the H3. So for H3, guys, I'm going to change here to H3. Then I'm going to give it let me give it a font size. Guys, I'm going to give it something like 25 pixel. And then a color, let me give it black, or a color, let it remain black the way it is. Let it remain by default black. And then let me just duplicate this section, shift all then down key, and then here I'm going to change it to the I tag. So I'm going to give it the font, let it remain the way it is, but now change the color to color. I want us to give it red. Let me give it a red color. Let me give it red. And then first of all, let me save and see those are brief changes. And so guys, you can see it is somehow good. So I want us to style also this section for for the price, and to create some margin between the price and the button here. So let me do this. Let me just duplicate this section and then do what, target what the I'm targeting what this price is in H2. Let me give it a H2. So let me say H2, and then let me give it a margin bottom. Let me give it something like 10 pixel. Let me save and see the changes. And I guess you can see we have at least some space. And so guys, you can see it is somehow good. But now the thing that I want us to change here, guys, is to change the rating. So the rating, let me give it after the price, after this price. So let me change the rating and then add here at the bottom here. So let me go to the HTML and then these ratings, let me just do it. Let me copy this or cut and the rating, then let me do it. Let me add it here. Let me add it there, and then let me first of all so let me save, and then first of all to the CSS, and then here let me add a margin bottom. Let me give it something like let me give it a 10 pixel, and then in the H3 here, let me add a margin bottom. I'm going to give it something like 20. Let me give it 20 pixel, and then let me save and see the changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see that this text is close to this section, these ratings. So guys, let me add the padding for these ratings here. But before I add the padding, let me add it in a class. So let me give it a class. So class here, let me say dot review. So let me say dot review. Is it that way? So let me say dot review, and then let me copy this closing tag, and then do it. Let me just paste it there. And then perhaps let me make it in a line, organized way. And then here after the CSS, then let me copy this part. Now I'm targeting what, let me copy, and then I do it, just paste it there. But now targeting this class dot review, because remember, if you style it with the I, it will have the spaces between the I tag themselves. So it's good to add the class here, so that it may affect everything, the entire container. So I'm going to give it a padding right. Let me give it something like a 20 pixel. So let me save and see the changes. And so guys, you can see it is but now let me try to make it to create also the margin bottom. So for margin bottom, guys, let me say what, margin bottom, let me give it something like again, let me give it 10 pixel, and let me give it a 10 pixel. Then let me save. This is perfect. And then I guess what I'm going to do now, perhaps let me add an arrow here for order now. So what I do, let me to the HTML, let me say order now. Then let me add this code. Which code? Let me copy this code for arrow. Sorry, let me just copy, and then I do what, I'm going to paste it here, and then I do what, let me save. And then guys, you can see it is somehow good, very good. And so guys, I think this is perfect. So the next thing now is to add what, let me duplicate this section and at least make it 2 items. So let me copy from this card up to where does it end? Card. Yeah, let me duplicate to this section, and then first of all, let me save and see this. And so guys, you can see it is, you know, somehow good, but now I want us to change the display and everything. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to this what, let me go to the CSS, or perhaps let me add the 3 items here and change the display so that it may be displayed in a column, in a row way, in a row format. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me go to the HTML first of all, and then I duplicate to the card section, to this card. Let me just duplicate it. Where does it end? Yeah, card here. Then I do what? Let me duplicate, shift all, then down key here. Let me say what? Let me say dot special, but now targeting what? These are container. So let me just copy the container here. Let me just copy it. Then let me say dot container. Then open and close the curly braces, and then display. I'm going to give it a flex, actually flex here. Let me save and see the changes. And so guys, I want us to reduce the size for these items, the width. So what I'm going to do now, guys, let me let me go to this CSS, and then to the image part. Where is it? Image. Let me try to give it something like let me give it something like a 10 pixel. Let me save and see. Yeah, guys, I think and so guys, the way you can see it is somehow good, but now what I want us to do, let me clear this section. Let me add a break tag here in this text. I want to add a break tag here. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to the HTML, and then here, where here, let me add a break tag here. So BR. So here, let me add a break tag, and then dot. Again, where here, I want us to add what? A break tag. BR line break. Also here, let me add what? A line break. And then let me save, and then I see the changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see the image here is and so guys, you can tell that these images are good. So now what I'm going to do now is to, you know, create some padding, some space here and all that. So let me go to these CSS, and then what I'm going to do, let me try to just copy this section, and let me copy this part. Let me copy these properties here, and then I do it here at the here. Let me do it. Let me just paste it there. But now I'm going to remove this this width. I'm going to remove this padding top, and then display. There are 2 displays, and then I want us to add a flex basis. So flex basis. Let me give it a 33 what, you know, 33%. So let me save and see the changes, guys. Let me see the changes. And so guys, there you can see it is somehow good, but now you can see the width is not, you know, organized, it's not pleasing. So I want us to change the max width now, the styling for the, you know, width. And then now guys, let's go to the CSS, and then let's go here. And so guys, here let me just say what dot special, then let me just paste it there. And then here guys, for padding, I'm going to give it something even like a 40, so something like a 40 pixel. And then let me save and see the changes in the browser. And so guys, I think this is now perfect. This is perfect for me. Yeah, this is perfect. So now what I'm going to do now is to change the image and the text. So let me go to the HTML part, and then here the second one here, I'm going to change it to, let me change it to another image. Let me give it what, let me give it something like a salad one. And then the text here I'm going to change it to salad. And then here I'm going to change it and give it something like that. Let me give it something like let me give it fried chicken too. And then here I'm going to change to give it what? Sorry. Here I'm going to give it so guys, here I'm going to give it what? Let me give it something like let me say fried chicken. And then the prices. So for price let me give it something like here let me give it something like $28. And then here let me give it something like this is salads I can give it even $5. So let me save and then see the changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see the images here are very, very perfect now. So I want us to create another section for breakfast, lunch and supper. So let me go to the HTML and then here at the bottom let me create what? First of all, let me create some space here, and then let me create a comment, and then let me say breakfast. What's the spelling for breakfast? And then lunch and supper package section. And then guys, what I'm going to do, let me just copy this part where up to where, let me just copy, not really, it should be up to where, let me copy up to here, let me just copy it and then do it, let me just paste it here, paste it there, and then I'm going to remove this comment here. Yeah, so but now guys, here I'm going to change it to what, let me give it to something like this is let me say package, or let me give it a box ID is, let me just give it a box, and then box, and then what I do, let me change the text now. The text here, let me choose this one, let me just copy this part and then I do it, let me just replace it here, and then here breakfast, lunch and supper packages, let me say packages. And then for title, let me go to the CSS, and then what, here at the bottom, let me just create a comment here, comment, and then let me say box styling. And then I guess what I'm going to do now is very, very simple. Let me do it. Let me copy these parts. Let me copy this part. Or what I do, guys, let me just copy this entire section here. Let me just copy it. Let me just do it. Let me just copy. Sorry. Let me just copy this section. Let me just copy, and then I do it. Let me just paste it there, and then now I'm going to change the class to box. Instead of special, I'm going to change it to box. So let me just give it to what, box. Also here I'm going to change it and I give it what, box. Here I'm going to change it and I give it what, let me give it box. Here also I'm going to change it and I give it what, box. Here again I'm giving what, box. Here again I'm going to give it what, let me give it a box. Here again box. here box, and then here now let me change it and give it that box. So what I do, let me just save, and then I see the changes in the browser. And so guys, you can see it is very, very beautiful. Now I want us to create also another section here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, let me just duplicate this section to the HTML first of all, and then to where, from card or where, yeah, let me copy from this container. Let me just copy the container section. Where does it end? Yeah, here it is. So let me just duplicate it, and then let me save, and then first of all let me see if it is, and then guys, you can see it is, it is good. But now I want us to create the padding here, padding top property, so that it may not be close to these other items. So let me do it. Let me go to the CSS, and then now I'll target what, where, here the container. So let me add a margin. It should be, my margin bottom. I'm going to give it 20 pixel. Let me save and see, and the changes. And then I guess you can see the spaces there, some are good, very, very perfect. So the next thing now is to change the images. So let me do it. Let me go to this HTML, and then now here let me begin to do it email part, and then now to this section I'm going to say that here I'm going to change the first image to breakfast something. So let me just give it a breakfast, and then here I'm going to say, let me change that to give it a breakfast package, and then I'm going to give it something like $30, and then what else here, let me give it something like let me give it, this is lunch, where's lunch box, and then I'm going to give it let me say lunch package, and then the price I'm going to give it $50, and then what else, then here I'm going to give it for supper. So for supper I'm going to say what, supper, let me say supper package, supper package, and then the price I'm going to give it something like let me give it $50, and then these are the images, let them remain the way they are. So let them remain the way they are. So let me save, and then I see the changes in the browser. And then guys, you can see it is very, very perfect, very, very professional. And so guys, I like this styling. It is very, very perfect now. But now guys, I want us to create another section like this one. I want us to create the featured meals here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now guys, let me copy the home section. Let me copy the home section here. A home section up to where? Let me copy this home section, and then here at the bottom I'm going to say that let me just create a comment. First of all, let me just paste it there, and then let me change it to featured meals section, and then here I'm going to change it and give it what, let me give it something like featured also the ID. So for ID, let me just remove the ID, I don't need it here. So featured, so let me say featured, featured, and then let me create a title. So title, we were using what? We were using a H what? We were using H2. Let me just copy this section. Let me copy this line. Let me just copy it, and then I do what? Let me paste it where? Let me just paste it here. Let me paste it here, and then here I'm going to change it and say featured. Let me say featured meals, or let me say top rated. Let me say, yeah, let me just say, or let me say top rated meals, and then let me go to the CSS, and then let me copy the styling in the home section. So let me copy this styling. Let me just copy it, and then here at the bottom, let me just paste it here. Let me paste it here, and then here I'm going to say featured styling, and then perhaps let me just copy this name so that it may be exact. Let me just copy it, and then to the CSS, guys, I'm going to replace it with what? Let me just replace it, and I give it a featured here. Let me just do it. Replace it with the featured. You begin with a dot. Also here, guys, I'm going to give it what? Let me give it a featured, and then what I'm going to do now, guys, let me change the height. So let me remove this property for height, and then let me just give it what? So height, let me give it let me try to give it auto. I shall just change it to not to be perfect, and then let me first of all save and see the changes in the browser. And then guys, you can see that these images, and so guys, you can see it is very, very beautiful. But now guys, I want us to remove this background something here, and at least add it here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now, let me go to the CSS, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to let me change the color, the background here. Let me just remove it. Let me remove this section. Let me remove what? This part. First of all, let me save and see. And I guess you can see it is very, very beautiful. But I want us to reduce this space here at the top. So here, let me go to the CSS, and then here let me reduce it to perhaps let me give it even something like let me give it something like even 5. Then let me save and see if it's good. This is perfect. And then I guess here I want us to create some padding bottom here, so let me just do it. Let me give it what? Let me duplicate this section, and then here I'm going to change it and give it padding bottom, and then I'm going to give it what? Let me give it again a 5 frame, and then let me save and see. Yeah, guys, at least you have some space at the bottom. But now let me add what? Let me add the background for it. So background. So let me try to add the background. So background color. Let me try to give it like gray and see the changes. So light gray. So let me save and see the changes. And then guys, you can see it is it's not good. Let me add the padding for it. So let me include the padding. padding, so padding left and right, so padding left. So what I do is let me just duplicate this section. Let me just duplicate it, and here let me padding right, sorry, padding right or padding left. Let me give it something like 3 rem. 3 rem, this is like a 16 times 3. Also here padding, here I'm going to change it to padding right. Padding right, I'm going to give it again a 3 rem, and then again I want us to create a border radius for it. So border radius, let me give it 10 pixel. So let me save this and see the changes. And then I guess you can see this, very, very beautiful. This is perfect for me. And so guys, I think that this section is now complete. I want us to create also another section for about. I'm not going to create the order. In fact, I'll remove because this website is absolutely a front end, so there's no need to complicate things with the other section. Remember, when we will cover the server side languages, we shall tackle also the front end part of these websites. But now I want us to create the about section. So to do that, let me open the browse the text editor, and then let me go to the HTML, and then here at the bottom, let me create a comment. Let me create a comment here and say what? Let me say about section, and then this is what I'm gonna do is let me say section dot about, then an ID is gonna be what? About, and then I'll create some space there, and then I'm going to use this line, this H2 here for title, so that we may have the same styling also there. So let me just do it. Let me paste it here. And then here I'm going to say what? Let me say here, let me say get to know my meals, my meals hotel. And then the other thing that I'm going to include here is now the max width property. So let me begin with that max width. Let me click enter. First of all, let me be sure that the max width there is perfect. Let me check on the max width, so it should resemble, so it's max width there, sure it's perfect. And so inside this max width, guys, I'm going to create what? I'm going to create a card dot, let me say dot container, or let me say dot card, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to create a box. So let me say dot box, and then inside this first box, I'm going to include the img. So img tag, and then inside this img, guys, I'm going to specify the folder for images. It is assets / then I'm going to use that this image, and then what else? So let me say here, let me just say what? Let me say box one, and then let me duplicate this section, shift then a down key, and then here I'm going to say what? Let me say box one, and then this one is box 2, and then here, guys, I'm going to do it. Let me create a H2, and then I'm going to say what? Let me say about my meals, about my meals. my meals, and then what else guys, I'm going to add also here some text, so p tag, and then I'm going to use lorem something like a 16, and then I want us to create a button here. I'm going to use an anchor tag, and then here first of all I give it a I give it a hash, and then here, by the way guys, and so guys, I want to create a button, so I'm going to use an anchor tag, but now I'm going to create a class for beauty, and so that it may have similar styling, and then first of all here I'm going to give it a hash, and then here guys, let me say what here, let me say read more, then I want us to copy this code, the code here. Let me copy this code here for arrow. Let me copy the code, and then do what? Let me just paste it here. Let me just paste it there, and then so guys, let me first of all save and see, and so guys, you can see it is very perfect. But now I want us to create some margin for this section, so that it may not be close to this one, let it have some space like these ones. So let me go to the CSS section, and then where here let me add a margin note. Actually it should be margin. Let me add a margin bottom. Let me give it something like let me give it a 5 frame, then let me save and see the changes. Yeah guys, I think that this is perfect. So guys, I want us to style this section and this part. So what I do guys, let me go to the CSS. Now here at the bottom, first of all let me create a comment, and then let me say what, let me say about styling, and then first of all I'm going to begin with what, with the card. Actually, yeah, let me begin with the card. So about.card, so let me say about.card, then I open and close the curly braces, and then guys, I'm going to use what, I'm going to use this stylings here. Let me just use this styling. I don't want to repeat again. Let me just copy, and then I do what, let me just paste it here, and then display flex wrap, a gap here, and then margin bottom, so flex basis. Here I'm going to give it what, let me give it 50, because we have only 2 items, so let me try to give it a 50%. Then what, targeting the img to, first of all, to the box 1. So box 1, actually let me copy this section, let me copy this part, copy, then let me do it, let me just paste it here, but now target not box 1, and then actually beginning the dot, because it's a class dot, box 1, and then targeting the img. So open and close the curly braces, and then I'm going to give it a height of let me try and give it something like let me try to give it something like a 200 by 200 pixel. Again here width I'm going to give it what, let me try to give it also 200 pixel. Then this property, let me say what, the property for object fit, I'm going to give it a cover. So where is it, a flex up here it is. So let me make it a comment, let me just make it a comment, and then let me save, and then I'll try to see what, try to see the changes. So guys, I can see it is now it's now good. So now guys, I want us to style what? I want us to style this this text here. So let me create some space here between this paragraph and the button. So let me say what? Let me it is in the box 2, but now targeting what? The p tag. So let me just do it. Let me copy this part. Let me copy and then I do it. Just paste it there, and then this is this is 2, but now here targeting what? I'm targeting the p tag. So my padding bottom, padding bottom, padding actually. Let me add a padding, or let me just say padding here. Padding. Let me say padding. Padding. Then I'm going to give it what? Let me give it a top and bottom. Let me give it something like 15 pixel. Then left and right, let me give it 0. So let me save and see the changes, guys. And so at least you can see, guys, that we have some space there. And so guys, I think this section is now complete. So guys, I think this section is now complete. I want us to create also another section at the bottom for the contact. So what I'm going to do now, guys, let me go to the HTML, here, and then let me first of all create a comment, and then I'm going to say what? Let me say contact section, and then what I do is let me just copy this section. Let me just copy this part. Let me just copy it, and then what? Let me just paste it here, and then here I'm going to change it to contact, and then here I'm going to give it what? Idea. I'm going to give it also contact, and then the text here I'm going to let me say in the contact, let me say what? Let me say contact as 24/7, and then so guys, here I'm going to remove this what? I'm going to remove this card section. Let me just remove this section. And then I'm going to use a form. So let me say form, and then open and close the curly braces, and then guys, I'm going to use what? I'm going to begin with the first of all, let me say input, and then a type is text, then a placeholder. I'm going to give it what? Placeholder. I'm going to say full name. Sorry, let me just say full name, and then here let me make it required, and then the next thing now is to add what? Let me add the one for, let me say here, let me give it a subject. Let me say email or email. Yeah, email. Let me say email address, and then here type, I'm going to change it to email, yeah. And then what else? I'm going to add also here another section for text area. So let me say text area. Then I'm going to remove what? This ID and the name, and then guys, I'm going to add also a placeholder. So placeholder, and then let me say enter your comment, enter your comment, and then what else? And so guys, And so guys, I want us also to create the button here, the submit button, the send message, and then I'm going to use the input type. I'm going to give it and the type here guys, I'm going to give it a submit. Let me give it submit, and then the value guys, let me give it value, let me give it a submit, let me give it a submit, and then by the way guys, let me create them in a div so that it may be displayed in a block format. So let me create a div first of all. Div should be div, then I click enter, and then let me just copy this part, let me just cut, and then I do what, just paste it there, and then here also I do what, let me say just say div, and then this section I'm going to do it, let me just cut, and then I do it, let me paste it here at the end, the closing tag. Again to the text area, let me create what, let me create a div, and then I cut the closing tag, and then let me just place it where, let me just place it here at the end. Again here to the submit, I want us to create also a div for it. So here I'm going to add a div, then let me just cut. And so guys, you can see that we have this form here, but now guys, I want us to create some margin for between this section, between the about and the contact section. So what I'm going to do now guys, let me go to the CSS, and then here let me just say about, and then let me say what, open and close the curly braces, and then let me say margin bottom, let me give it something like a 5 rem, then let me save, and then I see the changes. And so guys, at least you have some space down here. Alright, let me try to give it something like a 6 or a 9. Let me try 9, and then let me save, then see the changes. Yeah guys, I think this is perfect. So guys, I want us now to style this section here, this part for the form, and then here at the bottom, let me create a comment, and then in this comment guys, I'm going to say what, let me say contact styling, and then guys, here I'm going to say what, let me say contact. Remember the class name, the main class name is contact. So let me say contact. Now targeting the form, this form, the class is form, and then let me say the form, but now targeting what, input, targeting the limit, targeting the input part. So guys, this is what I'm gonna do. Let me say give it a height of guys, let me give it a 100%. Width guys, I'm going to give it what, let me give it also 100%, and then I'm going to add a border of what, border I'm going to give it a 1 pixel, solid, 1 pixel solid, and then which color, let me give it white, or let me just give it black. This color code, let me use this color code 222, and then let me say what, let me add a border radius of what, let me give it a 6 pixel, and then I'm going to give it an outline. Remember it's none, we already included in our global styling. And then padding, I'm going to give it what, padding top and bottom, I'm going to give it padding top and bottom, let me give it something like let me give it a 6 pixel, and then left and right, and guys, I'm going to give it what, let me give it before that, let me give it 0 top and bottom, and then left and right again. Let me give it something like 15 pixel. We shall just change it not to be perfect, 15 pixel. And then what else? I'm going to give it font size. Font size. I'm going to give it let me give it something like 18 pixel. And by the way, guys, we need to add these remember these are class, but now we need to include the form itself. So let me just write a form here, form, then I click, and for action I'm going to give it a hash. Remember this is just front end. Then let me just do it. Let me copy this part, let me just cut, and then do it. Let me just paste here at the bottom, and then let me save. And then guys, you can see it is somehow good. Now let's target this text area part. But before that, guys, let me do it. Let me add margin for these sections, for these input stuffs. So let me say what? Let me say here in the CSS, in the input, let me add the margin bottom. Let me give it something like 6 pixels. Let me save and see. And at least, guys, we have very beautiful space there. And then guys, I want us to style these text area stuff here, this text area thing. So I want us to remove this, resize something, whatever it is. So guys, what I'm going to do now, let me just duplicate this section, shift all then down key, and then here I'm going to change it to text area. Text area, and then guys, I'm going to do it. Let me give it what? Outline. Actually, a resize property. I'm going to give it none. And then what else? First of all, let me save. Yes, let's refresh. And then guys, you can see it is very beautiful. So now I want us to add what? I want us to add the background for this section. So let me add a background for what? For the form. So first of all, let me copy this part, this section. First of all, let me begin the max width here. So max width. So for max width, guys, I'm going to let me just copy this class name. Let me copy, and then to the CSS, guys, I'm going to begin now with the contact, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to target the max width, and then I'm going then open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to add what? I'm going to add a background. I'm going to give it light gray again. Let me give it light gray. Padding top, let me give it what? Let me give it 3 rem or a 5 rem. And then padding bottom, let me give it what? Let me give it something like again a 5 rem. And then also let me add a border radius. So border radius, let me give it what? Let me give it a 6 pixel, or let me give it a 10 pixel. Then let me save and see the changes. And so guys, you can see it is very beautiful. And then I want us to add the one for this form, form here. And so for the form, guys, I'm going to use what? Let me just copy this section. Let me copy, and then I do what? Let me just paste at the bottom here. Let me just paste it there, but now take it now in the form. Dot form. And then I open and close the curly brackets, and then background, guys, I'm going to give it what? Which color? Background color, or let me just say background color. Background color, guys, I'm going to give it which color. Let me just think of whichever color. And so guys, for background, let me give it this color ivory. Let me give it ivory. And then what else? I'm going to add the border radius. So let me copy this styling here, this property, and then I do it. Let me just paste it there. Padding, let me give it 15 pixel. 15 pixel. Let me save and see. And so guys, you can see it is very, very perfect. And then now the other thing that I want us to include here is the footer. Is the footer. So with the footer guys, let's go to the CSS, to the HTML guys, and then here let me create a comment, and then in this comment guys, I'm going to say what? Let me say footer, and then let me create what? Let me say just let me say footer, and let me say footer. And then in this footer guys, I'm going to use what? A span. I'm going to use a span. And then in this first line, I'm going to begin with what? Let me say designed by, and then I'm going to say what? Let me use an anchor tag here, and then here I'm going to give it a hash, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say name tag, and then here, and then again, so let me say copyright, and then I'm going to include to use here these icons. So I dot fas dot fa dot copyright. I guess that this is fa. This should be fa. Yeah, copyright. Dot copyright. Then let me click enter. And then guys, what I'm going to do next is to let me create a space here, and then I say at dot. Let me say copyright dot 2022. Then let me use this slash, and then let me say all rights reserved. First of all, let me save and see. And then guys, you can still have this text here, this text at the bottom. So but now guys, I want us to to create the padding, the margin for this section, the contact section. So let me go to the CSS first of all, and then I'll do it. Let me say dot contact, and then dot contact, and then I open and close the curly brackets, and then I'm going to say what? Let me say margin bottom. Let me give it 9 rem again, 9 rem, and then let me save. And then at least guys, you can see you have some space down there. And so guys, I want us to style this section so that it may be very, very beautiful. So this is what I'm going to do. First of all here, let me create some space here, some space there, and then let me create first of all this thing, and then now let me save, and then go to the CSS, and then let me say footer. Let me create a comment here and say footer, and then padding. Actually, I'm going to give it you begin with the footer first, footer, then open and close the curly braces, and then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say what? Padding. I'm going to give it padding. Let me give it what? Let me give it 15. Let me give it 35 pixel. That is padding both sides. Yeah, padding, and then Actually, let me give it, and then left and right, this top and bottom, then left and right, let me give it to 0. And then color, background, let me add a background color. I'm going to give it what, light gray. Let me give it light gray, and then the text, so the text color, I'm going to give it what, white. I'm going to give it white, and then first of all, let me say, let me align the item. So let me say text align to be where at the center. So let me save, guys, and see the changes in the browser. And then guys, I can see the text are here, but it's not yet perfect. So here, guys, I should use the black color, a dark black color here. So let me for color, the color should be now black. So the color, guys, should be black. And then what else? Now let me target the anchor tag. Let me copy now, targeting the anchor tag. The color, I'm going to give it what, red. Then let me save and see the changes. And so, guys, I can see it is very, very beautiful. Let me increase the font size. So font size here, font size, let me give it to 20 pixels. And then let me save and I see the changes. And then guys, this is perfect. This I think that this website is now perfect. So guys, what I'm going to do next now is to include to make this section functional, to include the functionality in this section. And so to do that, guys, I'm going to the text editor, now to the HTML section. And then guys, I'm going to copy the IDs. So you can see the contact, the ID here is contact, the about, the ID is about, and then we have the meals, the featured meals. Actually this one we don't need it now, but this section, here we have the ID, which is box, and then where, and then we have the special, and then we have what for home, the ID is home. So now guys, what I'm going to do next, now let me remove this line for order. Let me just remove it. And then now guys, in this section here, like for the home, just write out home. Remember the ID was home, I just include at the end of the hash. Here let me say special, and then here it is box. Again for lunch it is box, and then for supper it is what, box. And then here for about is about. Actually it should be about, and then here for contact is just contact. Let me save first of all, and then I see the changes. And so guys, let's now see the changes. So like if I want to go to home, let me click on this button and see if it's functional. So guys, you can see it takes me to the home, special, breakfast, lunch, supper, about, contact. But now guys, I want us to include what? I want us to include smooth transition, smooth navigations here. So let me go to the HTML, and then here let me just do it at the bottom, at the top here at the top. Let me say what? Let me say HTML, and then open and close the curly braces, and then I'm going to say scroll behavior. I'm going to give it a smooth, and then let me save and see the changes, guys. And so guys, let's now check on the scroll behavior. You can see it has now very, very smooth scroll behavior. So when I go to the special, it has a very, very smooth scroll behavior. For breakfast, very perfect. Remember lunch, breakfast, lunch, and supper, it is at the same ID. We gave it the same ID. and then this one is about, and then this one is contact. So guys, this is very very perfect. And guys, I think and so guys, I think the website is now complete, but remember, it's not yet complete. For media query, guys, you can use my previous videos, my previous project, to style the on the media query. I don't want to make the video very very long. So guys, until next time, guys, and so guys, I know the website is not yet completed on the media query section on the smaller devices, but guys, you can refer to them. And so guys, I think this website and so guys, I think I want to end this video here. For media query, guys, you can refer to my previous projects for media query, and then you're going to study it further. So you are going to the playlist section, then you're going to the you're going to the and so guys, I think I want to end this video here, but I know this website is not yet completed on the smaller devices. So for media query, guys, to style this website, you are going to use my previous project to style the media query part of this website. You can go to the projects playlist in this YouTube channel, and then you are going to choose, perhaps you go to the photography website. Then you are going to know how to design what you are going to know how to design the its responsiveness on the smaller devices. But I guess for now, if you find that this video has been of help to you, please support me by subscribing, and also like the video, and also you can as well share it to your friend. And so guys, until next time, goodbye.